Hi, I'm Amanda from Integrative Healing with Amanda Butler. I provide energy healing combined with psychological perspectives to facilitate a deeper connection with the divine within. Today we're going to do a clearing to increase our fondness and admiration with a partner or any other person who is important to us. This is part 2 of a 7-part series of videos to help expand our joy, our love, overall have a more joyful experience in relationships. And so what does that mean to expand our fondness and admiration? Well, like the previous video before this, which I will pop a link to in the comments, this clearing is inspired by the work of Drs. John and Julie Gottman. They are psychologists who have done 40 years of research into couples therapy, what makes relationships work, that sort of thing. And this idea is the second principle in their book, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. It's a book that has helped me as well as people I've worked with as a marriage and family therapist, and I do recommend it. And as I said in my other video, just to note that I'm not affiliated with the Gottman Institute, didn't receive anything for mentioning the book. I just want to share resources that I found helpful. Also, the video is not therapy. If you do want to seek therapy for any relationship issues or other mental health issues, please find a licensed mental health provider in your local area. Anyway, this book is something that you can get probably at your local library. It's been translated into several languages, and it's also for sale pretty cheap online. And another disclaimer that I feel I need to add is if we're talking about any kind of abusive situation, these clearings for like 7 principles to improve the relationship is not the best idea. If you do find yourself in some kind of abusive situation, it's best to seek resources in your local area to help you with that. And I'm in the United States, so I'll pop a link to or a phone number for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, either on the video background or in the comments. So again, this is for relationships where, maybe it's kind of difficult to feel fondness and admiration for the person. Maybe things have been kind of hard for a while, or, maybe things are good and you just want them to get better. It's not intended for abusive relationships. For abusive relationships, please seek any necessary help. Okay, so why talk about psychology in an energy healing video? And as I have said before in my previous video on this related to this topic, it's great to do energy work, meditation, activations, and all of these sorts of things. And at the same time, to really see changes in our outer circumstances, sometimes we may need to actually take some different steps, do some different actions that we might not otherwise have thought of. I could sit and do clearings all day, but if I keep doing the same things over and over again in my relationships, it's probably not going to change that much. So perspectives from the world of psychology and counseling can help us to know what to do to have more joyful, conscious relationships. Because really in our society, unfortunately, there's not much teaching about that. It's not taught usually at school or in other places, unless you have really good examples in your family or you like to read a lot of psychology books or a lot of, relationship and self-help books. Sometimes it's hard to know what to do or what to say to have better communication and improve the relationship overall with the partner. And so from that, we can learn skillful ways that create more positive outcomes for everyone, instead of just going off of what we have been seeing around us, like either in our families, which may or may not have been helpful, or in the media or whatever. So combining some tools and some different things to do along with the energy clearing to clear blocks can help create that marriage of inner work and outer work, physical and spiritual, and creates greater wholeness and a more kind of integrated approach to life. And so that's what this is all about and why I'm doing this. And actually, to say even a little bit more about that, as the ascension cycle accelerates and more of humanity is awakening and evolving, the way really is cleared for having more love and understanding in all types of relationships. And so an opportunity is opened up where we are being invited to shift how we're relating to each other, away from relating from our wounding and trauma to relating from the divine within us, our highest self. And really this applies to all types of relationships, whether that's a spouse or partner, a twin flame, family members, friends, coworkers, self, and even our relationships with things like money or our work. Because we're always in relationship with whoever and whatever we're interacting with, and now is a beautiful time to shift our experience with that to something more joyful. And that's my intention. And relationships, including like difficult experiences and relationships and how to shift those, is a topic very close to my heart because it's something that I've struggled with for most of my life. But this is kind of an example of the wound is where the light comes in. That's where it came in for me, and it set me on a path to study relationships and how to heal and shift them, both as a marriage and family therapist and as an energy healer. So we bring in the energy healing to help, like I said, address blocks, negative energies, wounding, trauma, negative patterns, negative programs, past lives, and all of that kind of stuff. Then we bring in the perspectives from psychology and counseling to assist in grounding in the benefits of the energy work into our lived experience. And so doing that inner work and then taking some different steps in the outer work to have a different experience. All right. So that was a bit of an aside, but moving on to fondness and admiration. Basically, this is just all about the positive things you see in the other person, whether it's your partner or a twin flame, if they are your partner, or even if they're not, friends, family, whoever. It's most applicable maybe to like a committed, intimate relationship, but can have benefits in any relationship. So it's what you really like and admire about the other person. And when things have been difficult in a relationship, especially if things have been difficult for some time, it can be hard to think of anything you feel is positive about the other person, or even feel like they are worthy of respect or being liked. When things have been really difficult for a long time, it can lead to feeling angry, stressed, feeling distant from the other person. And when that's the case, it's easy to focus on the other person's negative characteristics, all of the things you feel are flaws in their personality. And this leads to thoughts that maintain the distress, which in turn leave you feeling more and more distant and isolated in the relationship. And so clearing whatever is, at the root of that, and clearing the way to focus more on the person's positive characteristics, even if things don't seem that great right now, can really help. And so according to the Gottmans, that was an excerpt from their book. So according to the authors, being able to unearth these positive feelings is a crucial element in a lasting relationship, particularly a partnership. And another excerpt from the book, although happily married couples may feel driven to distraction at times by their partner's personality flaws, they still feel that the person they married is worthy of respect and honor. When this sense is completely missing from the marriage, the relationship cannot be revived. So this clearing is to increase that sense of fondness and admiration in the relationship, including clearing any blocks to it. And sometimes it can, like I said, be hard to recall what you actually like about the other person. And so it can be helpful in that case to go back to the beginning of the relationship and look at what was happy and felt good about that when things were new and felt maybe more exciting, that kind of thing. And a quote from the book from the author, I found that 94% of the time that couples who put a positive spin on their marriage's history are likely to have a happy future as well. And that doesn't mean that, you have to lie to yourself and say that, oh, it's been so happy all the time when even it hasn't. But being able to remember the good times as well as the negative times. Doing your best to find some positive memories of happy times can then help. And this is because having a fundamentally positive view of your spouse and your marriage is a powerful buffer when bad times hit. Again, another quote from the book. And so, kind of going on along those lines, fondness and admiration can be fragile unless you remain aware of how crucial they are to the friendship that is at the core of any good marriage. By simply reminding yourself of your spouse's positive qualities, even as you grapple with each other's flaws, you can prevent a happy marriage from deteriorating. The simple reason is that fondness and admiration are antidotes for contempt. If you maintain a sense of respect for your spouse, you are less likely to act disgusted with him or her when you disagree. And without the fundamental belief that your spouse is worthy of honor and respect, where is the basis for any kind of rewarding relationship? And so that piece about honor and respect is something that I find really important, because as sparks of the divine, we are all worthy of honor and respect. So bringing that back into the relationship can be very helpful as well. And I actually have a little story about that from my work as a marriage and family therapist. There was a couple that I was seeing for therapy, and one of their kind of breakthrough moments that really helped shift things was when the wife mentioned that she had an insight that in addition to being her partner, her husband was also her friend, and she felt like she hadn't been treating him very much like a friend, and so she said she would make the effort to do more of that. And as she did more of that, it kind of shifted things so that he felt safer and more able to open up to her emotionally. And this was, again, kind of a big turning point. There were several, but this was something that was really helpful. So bringing in the honor and respect at the honor and respect that would be part of any friendship, and having that there as well as part of the relationship. And there is actually a exercise online from the Gottman Institute that I will pop into the comments so that you can look at that. And again, the better in touch you are with your deep-seated positive feelings for each other, the less likely you are to act contemptuous of your spouse or partner or whoever the person is when you have a difference of opinion. And so even positive feelings that have been buried can be exhumed simply by thinking about and talking about them. You can do this a bit by meditating on your partner and what makes you cherish him or her. And when you acknowledge and openly discuss positive aspects of your partner and your relationship, your bond is strengthened. This makes it much easier to address the problem areas in your relationship and make some positive changes. And so that's what the little exercise that I'll pop into the comments is for, if you want to do that. The book itself also has some fun exercises that you could do with a partner if you are in a relationship with someone, or just think about on your own, like what kind of qualities you would want in a partner, what kind of qualities you feel you have yourself, or if you're not in a relationship and want to practice this, this is something you could think about, like with a friend, what kind of qualities they have that you are fond of and admire in them. And again, this has applications to any kinds of relationships. Also, if you are applying this to a twin flame, it helps to be able to be in contact with them and be able to talk about this with them. But even if you're not, again, this is still something you can think about and consider on your own, or work with someone else who's important to you. And so now on to the clearing. First, we are going to prep to work. And this is asking permission of your soul to do this work. And in this video, it's like my higher self and your higher self working together to clear the way to increase our fondness and admiration in relationships. So just seeing if we're prepped to work. Okay, checking on that just a moment. Okay, so where do we start? Okay, so the first place we're going to be starting is with QST. This is called quantum speed therapy. And all of the modalities that I'm using use a chart, use a pendulum and charts to point out energies, programs, things that need to be cleared. And QST is quantum speed therapy. It was created by Alexandra of Spiritual Healing Therapy. She does a lot of great work, has some wonderful videos on YouTube as well. If you ever want to check out her channel, she is great. So let's see where we're starting with QST. So healing integration, bringing in some beautiful energies to integrate whatever healing you might have already done around this topic, healing relationships, healing fondness and admiration in your relationships. So bringing that in to integrate any and all work you've already done, and also to help integrate this healing work through this video. And then memory entanglement is the next thing that comes up. So allowing you to pull from your memories the positive things about your relationship, positive, happy memories that are joyful and feel good to you, that shed a more positive light on the situation, even if maybe things have been difficult for a while. So bringing in memory entanglement, kind of like unraveling all of the negative memories and bringing some positive ones up to the surface. And facilitate, so bringing in energies to kind of be able to facilitate this overall in the relationship, because relationships are a system, and when you change one part of the system, it changes the whole system, and the whole system and others in it can shift as well, kind of like the story I shared about the client who, realized she wasn't treating her husband very much like a friend, and when she shifted that, her husband felt more able to open up to her emotionally and be more honest with her. And so sometimes, unfortunately, it starts with us to make the shift, and so just helping facilitate that. And accelerator, kind of bringing some acceleration to these changes, these shifts, bringing in beautiful energies to help with that. And bringing in now the energies of absolution, feelings of forgiveness for all involved, kind of absolving guilt, absolving shame, bringing in like a feeling of grace to wash away past pain, past hurts, past negativity, bringing in energies of absolution to help uncover the positive aspects, the fondness and admiration. And now bringing in the energies of greater surrendering as well, like a greater surrendering to the divine within you, within us. How would the divine within us want us to treat those who we are in relationship with? What would the divine spark within us want us to know about how to be in relationship? So surrendering to that divinity within. And next item that comes up is called learn. So bringing in energies to assist in learning from past experiences, downloading the lesson, letting go of the pain, letting go of the hurt, bringing in the silver lining, the positive thing that can maybe come out of some unpleasant times. Okay. Moving on. Let's see what we have next. So bringing in the energies of feeling complete within ourselves. Sometimes when we are with someone and we see that this other person is so different from us, it can be hard to feel that fondness and admiration for them, because it can feel like, why would I want to be with someone who is like this, who's so different from me, who, we see the world in such different ways. And there's also sometimes a feeling of wanting our partner to complete us. So when it's not feeling like they do that, it can feel hard to just accept them and be fond of them and admire them for who they are. So bringing in feelings of being complete. And the next item that comes up is called cocoon. And so this is like the energy of the butterfly being in its cocoon, kind of transforming. So bringing in a transformative kind of energy to shift things that are difficult about whatever situation or whatever's been going on, to transform it so that it's sort of a cocoon that helps develop into something more positive. Really bringing in the energies of transformation. Okay. So the next item that comes up is called duplicate. So kind of bringing in like as being able to like share this with, whoever you're wanting to share it with, kind of like making it so that, if you kind of work on this, it will also help benefit your partner. Kind of like bringing in the energies of being able to share this with the other person involved. And if you're working on it, like they're able to benefit from it too. It also helps and benefits them, sort of along the lines of a relationship being a system. If one makes a positive change, it can also assist the other in making a positive change. So, sorry, that one was a little bit hard to express in the right way. Hope it makes sense. Okay, moving on, seeing what we have next. Okay, so next up we have quantum entanglement, bringing in some quantum energies, which is really what quantum speed therapy is all about. Bringing in these quantum energies. The chart has light language for all of the items on the chart. So bringing in this quantum energy, this light language, to really help facilitate shifts into a more conscious, more loving, more joyful way of relating with others. So now bringing in the energies of fusion, and I see this really as being like a fusion with the divine within you, bringing, like deepening that connection with the divine within, really feeling more and more connected with that inner divinity. And that's really what all of this is kind of about for me, is that deepening the connection to the divine within. So creating a closer connection, a deeper connection, more of a fusion with the divine within you. Okay, seeing what we have next. Next item is continuous spectrum. So being able to see the relationship and, life overall as a journey. We all start off in a certain place and we have certain experiences that we learn certain things from. And so maybe a relationship started off in a certain way, but it can be a journey, a spectrum of experience. And when you clear some stuff that needs to be cleared, make some changes in how you're relating, it can shift, and it's just all part of the journey. So taking away any negative judgment or shame or guilt or anything like that for how things have been in the past, and just seeing it as this continuous spectrum of learning, this journey of growth. For both you and the other people, whether you have, those kinds of feelings of judgment, shame, guilt, whatever, toward yourself, toward the other. Okay, so getting the mop-up signal for QST and doing a mop-up of that. And moving on to SRT. This is a series of 32 charts with different things to clear. And as we move from chart 1 up to chart 32, it's like increasing in consciousness all the way as we move through the charts. So let's see where we start. So chart 4, this is all about, past lives, different past life experiences, past life energies, things we may have gone through in past lives that could be contributing to the current situation. So let's see what there is to clear here. Okay, so just clearing anything and everything from this chart that needs to be cleared. Okay. Seeing where we go next. 8B, this is about archetypes. Archetypes are fundamental patterns of existence that are often kind of unconscious. So again, a lot of the process of connecting more deeply with the divine within us is making the unconscious conscious, and bringing in some psychological perspectives along with some energy work can really help with that. So let's see what we're clearing here. Okay, what are we clearing? So clearing the archetypes around love of self. So being able to love yourself, starting there, and being able to extend that to your partner or whoever you're wanting a better relationship with as well. That love of self, that fondness and admiration for yourself, and feeling secure in that, and being able then to also feel that for your partner, for their specific, positive qualities, all of the things that you love and admire about them. So starting with the self. Okay, seeing where we go next. And so being able to hear more of the good in your life, creating more room to bring in the good, to hear the good, to hear what is positive in the situation, to hear your own inner guidance and to understand things from the perspective of the divine within you. That's what we're doing here with this chart that we're on. And let's see where we go next after this. So chart 20, refining consciousness. Okay, so clearing any and all additional programs at the one level, because fundamentally we are all one, we're all part of spirit, we're all sparks of the divine. So clearing any programs that block us from that oneness. And when we have that experience of that oneness, that experience of understanding that we're all one and that we're all, fundamentally interconnected with each other, it can become a lot easier to have more compassion, less judgment, more patience, more kindness to ourselves and other people. So really bringing in more of that feeling of oneness with the divine, oneness with all. Okay, seeing where we go next. Okay, chart 25. Moving towards like a higher level of finalizing some things. So the item that comes up here is guaranteeing that everything is cleared. This is a great one to see. So we're guaranteeing that anything and everything that needs to be cleared for you to have more fondness and admiration in your relationship with your partner or whoever it is that you're wanting, that better relationship with. Guaranteeing that everything is cleared so that you feel more at peace, more calm to maybe do something different, maybe try the little exercise that I'll pop in the comments to nurture more of that fondness and admiration so that it feels safe to do so and so that it feels like it can be fun, because it can be fun. It doesn't relationships don't have to be this miserable kind of zero-sum game of proving who's right and who's wrong and that kind of thing. That's kind of the old paradigm. And so we're shifting into something that's more based in love and compassion, more understanding. And so guaranteeing that, all of that old paradigm stuff, or as much as we can clear in this little video. This is really just a sampling, guaranteeing that we're clearing all that we can clear of that. Okay. Okay, we're at about 95% clear. Let's see where we go next to get to 100. Okay, chart 30, final light. This is further finalizing anything that needs to be cleared. Really grounding in that light, this clearing. So doing that, bringing in this healing energy, these healing frequencies, this freedom from the old pain, the old trauma, the old wounding, all of that kind of stuff, so that we can move forward into the new paradigm of more love and more joy. All right. Okay, so I'm getting the mop-up signal. So it looks like we are done with SRT. SRT is called short for spiritual response therapy. If I didn't mention that, it was created by Robert Detzler. And he was a Unity minister who put a whole lot of work into creating this really quite ingenious system that I like a lot of clearing a lot of stuff. So just doing a complete mop-up, wrap-up of this clearing, making sure that everything is clear. So, okay, it looks like that's a wrap and we're done. And so I hope you've enjoyed this clearing and found it to be helpful in some way. Like I said, this is part 2 of a 7-part series, a work in progress at this point. And I'll pop the link to the other one, the first clearing about expanding your love maps, in the comments. And so after a clearing, be sure to drink lots of water to really help flush things out. And if you would like a deeper clearing, I'll put my information below. You can reach me in the comments. You can reach me at amandabutler.net to book a full clearing, and I do have a clearing there that is specifically for relationships, and if you mention this video when booking that, you'll receive 50% off that clearing. And so if you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe, and I hope this is helpful to you and a blessing in your life, and stay tuned for part 3. And I'm wishing you all the best. Bye-bye. Hi.